is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay By Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Another hurricane season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, any type to your specifications. But the best part is we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
wonderful Friday afternoon to you, everyone. Thank you so very much for once again tuning into the Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, alongside Alton Jaquan Joseph, our technical operator. Hope you're having a good Friday so far. Hope you've been having a good week thus far. And, it is the 11th day of the month of July 2025. Our program, as you all know, airs weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on Real FM, the radio station that serves you on two frequencies, 91.3 for the north and 91.5 for the south, simulcasting on MBC Television, channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service, simulcasting on also Facebook Live and YouTube live streaming. So, no shortage of places where you can interact with us. Hope you make the most and the best of it. Looking at my email, some time ago you heard the leader of the opposition in St. Lucia having some say about CARICOM, that the OECS should pull out of CARICOM basically, and that we should conduct bilateral relations, that is the OECS countries, bilateral negotiations with I don't know if they're still called that, the more developed countries, the bigger countries of CARICOM, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, that we should, I don't know if Belize is considered among the more developed countries, but they're very much a part of CARICOM. In fact, our current CARICOM Secretary General is a Belizean, Dr. Carla Barnett, and of course I'm proud to remind you that our CARICOM Deputy Secretary General is a St. Lucian, and we're talking about Mr. Armstrong Alexis, former permanent secretary here. Before that, he worked for UNDP in Africa, in Namibia. Man, I'm very proud of, I have to tell you. But anyway, that's not really the point. Chasney was making that point, and some people felt he was very dumb for saying that. In fact, he got some real verbal working over by the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonzalez, who called him the worst Prime Minister that the region has ever had, or St. Lucia has ever had, or the OECS country member. But Ralph Gonzalez didn't mince his words, but I suspect that had more to do with Chasney's basic collaboration with the opposition in St. Vincent, that is in particular what would have rubbed Gonzalez the wrong way. But anyway, it looks like Chasney, in an indirect manner, is kind of getting some support for his point of view about CARICOM not giving the smaller territories which comprise the OECS a fair shake. And that recently has come from the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brown. In fact, a press release from the Prime Minister's office is headed, Antigua and Barbuda raises concerns over OECS treatment within CARICOM. It's dated July 7th, 2025. We're talking about 4 days ago. That would be the start of this week, Monday of this week. And it says, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Gaston Brown, has voiced strong concerns regarding the treatment of Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS members within the broader Caribbean community, CARICOM, warning that the sub-regional group is being subjected to what he described as benign neglect. Speaking on the first full day of deliberations at the 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM, Prime Minister Brown raised the issue during the plenary session under the agenda item concerning the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME. And in quote marks, we ought not to be treated with benign neglect in the same way the international community treats us, close quote, Prime Minister Brown stated, highlighting long-standing grievances from OECS member states about disparities within CARICOM's integration framework. The CSME, which facilitates the free movement of goods, skills, labor, and services across the region, has recently come under scrutiny. In addition to Prime Minister Brown, both St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, and St. Lucia's opposition leader Alan Chasney have also raised concerns over the inequitable treatment of OECS countries within the regional bloc. Dr. Gonzalez reiterated his disappointment during Monday's session, stating that despite being sovereign, full members of CARICOM, OECS nations have yet to see the benefits promised under Chapter 7 of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, which speaks to disadvantaged countries, regions, and sectors. That hasn't happened, he said plainly. Echoing that sentiment, Prime Minister Brown emphasized that the OECS continues to be a committed partner in regional integration, but has not been treated fairly. Quote, "We do not wish to be the absolute losers in CARICOM," end of quote, Brown said, adding, quote again, "there must be compensatory mechanisms to ensure that OECS states benefit meaningfully from integration and the revised treaty," end of quote. He further noted that repeated advocacy on this matter has been largely ignored over the years. Again, quote, "The time has come for this issue to be addressed seriously rather than continually overlooked," end of quote, he asserted. Among the key concerns raised was the failure to fully implement the Owen Arthur study, which exposed the structural imbalances and the unequal distribution of benefits within the CSME. Prime Minister Gonzalez specifically criticized the current tariff structure, which he argued disproportionately favors larger economies like Trinidad and Tobago, allowing them to dominate regional manufacturing while leaving OECS states heavily dependent on imports. Both prime ministers also expressed frustration at the failure of some larger CARICOM member states to meet their financial obligations to the CARICOM Development Fund, CDF, a mechanism intended to assist less developed countries within the community. In closing, Prime Minister Brown lent his full support to Prime Minister Gonzalez's remarks, particularly regarding the long-standing CLICO-BICO matter, and of course BICO is for British American Insurance Company, and called for a formal meeting between the OECS and Trinidad and Tobago to address the unresolved issues. The collapse of CLICO and BICO in 2009 caused a significant financial disruption across OECS territories, triggering prolonged economic and legal challenges. That's the end of it. I said, hey, Prime Minister Brown, who I know, I don't think is any fan of Alan Chastney. In fact, many people believe his remarks about a not-so-bright CARICOM Prime Minister or OECS Prime Minister may have been a sideways swipe at Alan Chastney some years ago. But they apparently are finding some kind of common ground in terms of their position on how the wider CARICOM, the bigger, more developed territories, are treating the smaller ones that comprise the OECS. So, let's see whether Alan Chastney will take this as a big up, as a thumbs up. I don't know whether that is it. But speaking about the collapse of CLICO and BICO many years ago, CLICO Colonial Life Insurance Company, remember, it was CLICO Investments that was the financier, or at least the main one, for what was supposed to have been a major hotel and golf course development, really sprawling area for development of a multifaceted, multi-featured golf course somewhere between Praley and Dennery, and it never reached completion. A lot of work was done, a lot of concrete structures were erected and so on, and we're talking about the La Paradis Westin Properties development down on the East Coast that many people were licking their chops about, especially farmers, as to, because even in the construction phase, I think they were already giving a lot of business to the farmers in the area, purchasing produce, their pineapples, their food and so on for workers and the people who were there, fruits, etc. And it just fell flat when CLICO collapsed. The source of funding for that development dried up, and they have never been able to restart it. I personally, being from that area, from the East Coast, I have carried with me a sadness about this, because I knew many people personally, relatives and so on, who were in the agriculture business and elsewhere, who had really looked forward to La Paradis becoming a reality. But it appears either no effort has been made, or there's been no luck, whatever, in negotiating something, whether it is that whoever the receivers or judicial managers or whatever are for CLICO don't want to let go of it. I don't know what really is happening, but it is just stalled, and it looks like it is to all intents and purposes dead. I would really have liked to see that development get going. All right, talking about Jamaica and the bigger countries, and that CARICOM meeting at which Prime Minister Brown spoke being held in Jamaica, of course. I have seen some comments made by our social media by the former West Indian wicketkeeper batsman, considered a great, if not a legend, Jeffrey Dujon, about the state of West Indies cricket. And Dujon seems to, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, believe that everything that is wrong with West Indies cricket now has to do with Darren Sammy being the coach across all formats, and Dr. Keshav Shaloo, who I think is the president of Cricket West Indies, that is the board and so on. He took over from Ricky Skerritt. And of course, Dr. Shaloo is from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You know, I read Jeff Dujon's comments, and I have seen the comments of others about it. And I couldn't help but say to myself, typical thing again. Anytime, whether it's Darren Sammy as captain, now he's as coach, a small islander, you know, St. Vincent and the Grenadines being the president, taking over from another small islander, Ricky Skerritt, was there before him, of St. Kitts and Nevis, former minister for that matter. Anything that's wrong with West Indies cricket, it's always, whether the time when Julian Hunt was president, you know, they found all kinds of problems with it. Darren Sammy was captain, even though Sammy is the last person who brought World Cup glory to West Indies cricket, winning 2, and that wasn't coincidence. Sammy as a player may not have stood out so much in that period. To me, before he was captain, his bowling returned better figures. But the captaincy of West Indies cannot be an easy thing. But Sammy was able to hold that team together. And you got the sense that a lot of the big names and big guns in the team, the Chris Gales and so on, who were given, there was also Dr. Ernest Ile, who was the CEO of Cricket West Indies. All sorts of weird things, including by the late Lester Bird, were being said. Once I heard Viv Richards allege something about Dr. Ile, which I called him and I said, I'm just hearing Viv Richards on Sportsmax saying something about you. And, you know, Dr. Ile told me, but Shelton, why would I ever say that? Why did I ever say that kind of thing? But, you know, when it's hunting season, it's like a turkey shoot against you. Everybody is gunning for you. And I just had to say, much as a lot of us, we admire Jeff Dujon, we respect him, we hold him in high regard because of, you know, his contributions to West Indies cricket, to the West Indies team and so on, his fearlessness as a batsman, his skill as a wicket keeper, and generally, his demeanor is a likable guy and so on. Straight talking, you know, like Michael Holding, another Jamaican and so on, they tell it to you as they think it is. But it's the typical big island mentality that if there's anything that's wrong, Jeff Dujon cannot look back to the decline in West Indies cricket, which started when he was still on the team, and nobody's saying he caused it. But the decline of West Indies cricket has been going on for a long time. A lot of people will tell you from the time West Indies lost a World Cup in 1983 to a team that was not rated nearly as high as they were. They had won the first 2 World Cups and they lost a final where they only needed to make 183 runs. They fell short by 40 runs. It was a disaster, you know, of Clive Lloyd becoming injured and coming out with a runner. Desmond Haynes, who was out already, putting Richards under pressure, bad captaincy decision. I mean, we saw it. We were never able to get the World Cup again. We never were competitive. And that is one place where our decline showed. It showed in many other areas, you know, teams that were, you know, that were beating us up all over the place. South Africa, who had been out of cricket for a very long time, they came, you know, and they whooped us once, and, you know, and it was like no big deal. It's just another game. These things happen. Brian Lara captaining us, I think, or on the team and losing against Kenya, I think it was, were just newcomers to international cricket, and he allegedly said, you know, to them, we're not too hazard, you know, because you're an African team, you're African people, basically words like that. You know, that's not the spirit of competitive international cricket. You play to win. You know, winning is everything for you. We've heard this kind of things over the years, and we've seen what many people consider to be a lack of commitment, of people more interested in their endorsements and their designer dark glasses and a whole lot of things than they're really interested in the cricket. We've heard about a team that went to one place and a coach or manager said that, you know, the guys seem only interested in women, you know. The amount of women they were bringing to their rooms in the night, how could they ever? And people took him apart. We've heard of those things. Things have been happening in West Indies cricket. Problems of discipline, problems of management, problems of commitment, problems of conflict between where people have some kind of, contract or whatever with whatever endorser and so on. We heard Carl Hooper, a guy who was brought back, after he had left the team already to be the captain, once saying as far as he's concerned, his future and his interest and his commitment is if an English countryside called Kent. Kent is where he sees himself as, really been a profitable thing for him. We've had all those kind of things over the years, So I don't know why now, because Sammy, it doesn't mean that Sammy is doing everything right or there are not areas in which he can tighten up. West Indies' performance is dismal, especially in the batting department. The bowlers go out there, they do their work, they do what they're supposed to do, they bring in the results, they contain. But anytime West Indies has to score 200 runs at the most to win a match, they never get close to it. They might score it in the first innings if they're batting first or whatever, or even if they're batting, second. But West Indies scoring 200 runs is challenging to them. These are supposed to be high-level professional players. What is happening to all our cricket coaching and all our high performance and the regional tournaments are supposed to prepare people and the A-team tours, A-side tours and this kind of thing we're not getting. So I listened to Jeff Dujon and I said, there they go again, these big island people, and Jamaica is famous for that. Jamaica is one which has, they're talking about CARICOM this and CARICOM that. Jamaica is one which has been a drag on CARICOM because Jamaicans always believe, to me, the country, the government, well, not always, but especially when that party which is in office right now, the Jamaica Labour Party, there always seems to be that feeling of what is the relevance of CARICOM to us? We're bigger than CARICOM. I don't hate coming too much out of Andrew Holness, I must say. And I believe a previous guy called Golding, he's demonstrated from the JLP a certain degree. But generally that party, the party of Bustamante and the party of Siaga and so on, they're in CARICOM, I won't say nominally, but they have this sense of bigness about them that, it's CARICOM here and we're supposed to be up there. So when I heard Jeff Dujon talking and it's like Sammy he's taking aim at and Dr. Kishore Shallow, I said, oh my goodness, I've heard it before when Julian Hunt was president and Hilaire was CEO and Sammy was captain. There was a little talk, they muted it, like I say, kind of sort of voce. Oh, it's a St. Lucian thing all the way, and the St. Lucian, triad and so on. The president is a Lucian and the CEO is a Lucian and the captain is a Lucian. Well, up to now, we can't get the Frank Royal Trophy back. We can't win any championship, whether in the 50 over World Cup, whether in the 20 T20, whether in Test, we're low in the international Test rankings. The last person who brought home a trophy for us, and he did it twice in the World T20, was Darren Sammy of St. Lucia. As Philip J. Pierre would say, put that in your pipe and smoke it, Jeff Dujon and all you others who want to dump on Sammy. Now maybe Sammy has to go. I don't know. Somebody show me exactly what he's doing. Because he can coach all he wants, but people have to go out there and to execute. Like I say, it's not a matter that West Indies is winning. You don't find yourself down and you just fly up all of a sudden, It's a process of building back and clawing your way back to some level and going on and so on. But what can Sammy do when batsmen consistently and persistently fail to go out there and to execute, even to say we have a win, okay, they won us by 20 runs or something. I mean, you're losing the first match in Barbados by, 159 runs and so on. You're losing the other one in Grenada by 140-something runs. Both matches lost by about 150 runs. West Indies could not. And look at the people who come in and making some kind of decent score and contribution. The same bowlers who have toiled already to run in and so on, and to the Shaman and Alzari Josephs and the others and so on, and Jaden Seals and so on. They're coming in and they're doing something better with the bat. Now, if it is the turn and the swing and the whatever, and the away movement that the West Indies batsmen are completely befuddled by and so on, how come guys load down the order? Number 9, 10, 11 batsmen can come in there and smack the Michelle Starks and those fellas all over the fence and so on, all over the park for 6, etc. and 4s. But the top order batsmen, something like they say, the math in that, it ain't mathing. So for that, I would say Jeff Dujon and others like you, give Sammy a little break. There's deeper problems in West Indies cricket. Now, folks, I know with me, as in so many things, you are accustomed to is the politics. But I think sometimes we have to turn our minds to other things apart from the politics. The first one I want to talk about. Did anybody ever hear about a new type of diabetes called type 5 diabetes? Have we ever heard about that? All right. New type of diabetes is now officially recognized and linked to nutritional deficiencies. I know I've been hearing all my life that I've had understanding about type 1 diabetes, which is said to be a diabetes that either people are born with or since childhood because the pancreas is impaired and it cannot produce, and it's almost like an inherited thing, And there is type 2 diabetes, which is often called adult onset diabetes, which is a kind of a progressive decline in your pancreas function and insulin production and insulin resistance and a whole lot of things. I can't really recall all of them right now, or maybe articulate all of them right now. But I was reading the other day, as I do all the time, I'm sure many of you do as well. New type of diabetes is now officially recognized and linked to nutritional deficiencies. This is published on earth.com, which is an online news portal that brings you information about news, science, and life, they say. And that was published on the 4th of July, 2025. Okay, so that would have been last week, Friday. The writer is one Jordan Joseph, an earth.com staff writer. And it goes like this. Type 5, now I wonder if we have type 1 and type 2. How come I never hear about type 3 and 4? Why they jump all the way to 5? Type 5 diabetes is no longer a footnote. On April 9, 2025, the International Diabetes Federation confirmed that chronic undernutrition can seed a very different form of blood sugar trouble, giving the condition its own place in the global classification system. Malnutrition-related diabetes has historically been vastly underdiagnosed and poorly understood, said Dr. Meredith Hawkins as the vote was announced. Hawkins is an endocrinologist at Albert Einstein College of Medicine and founding director of the Global Diabetes Institute, GDI. There's a subheading, Why a Fifth Type Matters. Nearly 1 in 9 adults worldwide now lives with some form of diabetes, and more than 250 million people remain unaware of their status, according to the 11th edition of the IDF Diabetes Atlas. Most public campaigns focus on type 2 diabetes, yet an estimated 20 to 25 million lean adolescents and young adults in Asia and Africa carry the new diagnosis of type 5, a burden comparable in size to HIV infection in the same regions. Lean, they're not fat, like me. They're not plump, they're not overweight, they don't have high BMI, body mass index. Lean adolescents. 20 to 25 million adolescents and young adults in Asia and Africa carry the new diagnosis of type 5. Unlike type 2, type 5 takes hold where food is scarce, not plentiful. That reality undercuts a long-standing public narrative that ties diabetes exclusively to overnutrition. For governments counting every healthcare dollar, a distinct label matters. Budgets follow labels, and without one, entire populations have slipped through screening and treatment programs designed for very different metabolic problems. This is about equity, science, and saving lives, said Professor Peter Schwartz, president of the IDF, summing up the stakes during the Bangkok Congress. Another subheading says, Early hunger leaves a lasting mark. Decades of animal work show that a low-protein diet during gestation or adolescence stunts pancreatic growth and the formation of beta cells. Is it beta or beta? Beta cells, the tiny factories that make insulin. Human epidemiology echoes that biology, linking low birth weight and recurring childhood malnutrition to impaired glucose control later on. Researchers now group type 5 under severe insulin-deficient diabetes, a label that captures the core effect. The pancreas never learned to keep up with sugar loads, even though the rest of the body remains sensitive to insulin. In South India, investigators tracked adults whose body mass index averaged just 18.3 kilograms per, is it meter squared or mm.2, is it meter or mole, I don't know. Yet whose blood sugar routinely soared. Birth weight records were available, pointed to undernutrition in the womb. Community nutrition programs are therefore viewed not only as anti-hunger measures, but also as long-range diabetes prevention. Public health economists note a secondary benefit: feed a girl properly before and during pregnancy, and her children may avoid the same metabolic trap, breaking an expensive intergenerational cycle of disease. State-of-the-art euglycemic clamp studies published in 2022 confirmed that type 5 patients secrete dramatically less insulin than matched controls while showing normal or even heightened insulin sensitivity. The same work found that visceral fat and modest liver fat, a stark contrast to type 2 profiles. In practical terms, these young adults do not carry the metabolic baggage that fuels insulin resistance in obesity-driven diabetes. Autoantibody screens stay negative, ruling out the immune-mediated beta cell destruction that defines type 1 diabetes. The numbers therefore line up. Glucose levels look dangerous, C-peptide looks scant, but inflammatory markers typical of autoimmunity are absent. Because the pancreas is small, many experts suspect that oral drugs that nudge the remaining beta cells may help more than high-dose insulin injections, a strategy that could lower cost and reduce dangerous hypoglycemia in food-insecure settings. All right. Diabetes type causes clinical confusion. Doctors are still unsure how to treat these patients who often don't live for more than a year after diagnosis, Dr. Hawkins warned. Younger clinicians trained on the obesity paradigm may reach for large insulin doses that push already fragile patients into ulcerating hypoglycemia. Now, don't ask me what that means, ulcerating. Is there a hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, which causes ulcers and so on? I don't know. Misclassification also skews surveillance data. When a thin teenager in rural Uganda shows up with elevated glucose but no ketosis, the chart often reads type 1, obscuring the true epidemiology and directing precious insulin supplies away from those who need them. A 2025 commentary in the Bangladesh Journal of Endocrinology emphasized the threat. Standard insulin regimens carry potentially fatal consequences for type 5 patients who are mistyped as type 1 because even small dosing errors provoke sharp glucose crashes. Simple screening cues can help. A BMI below 19 kilograms per square meter in the absence of autoantibodies should prompt consideration of type 5, especially when the history includes prolonged childhood hunger. Steps for care of diabetes type 5. 2 weeks after the Bangkok vote, the IDF launched a dedicated working group to write diagnostic criteria, compile treatment algorithms, and build an international patient registry by 2027. The panel, co-chaired by Hawkins and Dr. Nihal Thomas of Christian Medical College in Vellore, India, will test low-dose insulin, sulfonylureas, and structured nutrition programs in multi-site trials. Results should reshape essential medicine lists in low-income countries. Public health agencies are already modeling the economic impact. Analysts predict that shifting even half of misdiagnosed cases from insulin vials to oral drugs could save tens of millions of dollars each year funds that might be redirected to maternal nutrition. Advocates also press for the inclusion of pancreas-focused imaging in major nutrition cohorts. Measuring organ size early could identify high-risk children before glucose spirals out of control. We are taking decisive steps to correct this, said Schwartz, insisting that momentum will continue. Policies built on that momentum will decide whether type 5 becomes another silent killer or a preventable relic of poverty. I don't remember hearing any of our local medical experts, health officials speaking about this. Maybe because it's not a consideration, it's not on the horizon, we don't have that kind of hunger and malnutrition in St. Lucia, which will cause that type of diabetes to become of any significance. I don't know. Maybe later on we'll have some discussions about it. But I read it and I just found it interesting. I don't know how many people had heard about it. So perhaps it is one additional point of analysis and consideration. Real issues, powered by Blue Waters. Let's take our break, and when we come back, soon after, our phone lines will be open.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell V4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with the Real Issues powered by Blue Waters on this Friday, the 11th of July, 2025. At the end of another week of this program, thank you so very much for having been a part of it. And I know when I open the phone lines, you will give expression to that. Scientists identify a new blood group, and it is the world's rarest. And before I read the article, guess what? The blood group is identified someone in the Caribbean, someone quite close to our location for that matter. Let me read it. A French woman from the Caribbean island of Guadeloupe has been identified as the only known carrier of a new blood type dubbed Guada negative, France's blood supply agency has announced. And that was published in Science Alert on the 23rd of June this year. All right, so less than a month ago. The announcement was made 15 years after researchers received a blood sample from a patient who was undergoing routine tests ahead of surgery, the French blood establishment EFS said on Friday, of course Friday closest to the 25th. The EFS has just discovered the 48th blood group system in the world, the agency said in a statement on social network LinkedIn. This discovery was officially recognized in early June in Milan by the International Society of Blood Transfusion, ISBT. The scientific association had until now recognized the 47 blood group systems. Thierry Perra, a medical biologist at the EFS involved in the discovery, told AFP that a very unusual antibody was first found in the patient in 2011. However, resources at the time did not allow for further research, he added. Scientists were finally able to unravel the mystery in 2019, thanks to high-throughput DNA sequencing, which highlighted a genetic mutation, Perra said. The patient, who was 54 at the time and lived in Paris, was undergoing routine tests before surgery when the unknown antibody was detected, Perra said. This woman is undoubtedly the only known case in the world, said the expert. She is the only person in the world who is compatible with herself. Perra said the woman inherited the blood type from her father and mother, who each had the mutated gene. I wonder how those people knew that they were unique and special, that they, in other words, it's not a case of one of them had the mutation and they married one married another person with the same gene. Were these people led together by some mysterious invisible force of attraction, that they instinctively knew that there's something special and unique about, so we have to link up, All right. The name Guada negative, which refers to the patient's origin and sounds good in all languages, of course Guadeloupe, so I suppose that's why Guada, and sounds good in all languages, has been popular with the experts, said Perra. The ABO blood group system was first discovered in the early 1900s. Thanks to DNA sequencing, the discovery of new blood groups has accelerated in recent years. Perra and colleagues are now hoping to find other people with the same blood group. Well, what you'll have to do, come down to the Caribbean, come down to Guadeloupe and come down. Maybe St. Lucia, there are a few of us resting here. Who knows? I don't know if Jaquan knows his blood type. Maybe he might have it and can tell them, a few million francs for the donation of a vial. Discovering the new blood groups means offering patients with rare blood types a better level of care, the EFS said. And so these are fascinating discoveries in science and medicine that I just thought it may interest us. And who knows, we may actually find it useful. There's a lot of traffic between St. Lucia and the French Islands. Now, raise your voice, St. Lucia. I can see on the Real Issues WhatsApp chat group, the president of Raise Your Voice St. Lucia, Miss Catherine Seelys, has put out an appeal if anyone has a double bed or a bunk bed that they can donate. Now, if she wants it, it is for some humanitarian reason to help somebody who's the victim of a young woman or who's the victim or under the threat of domestic violence and so on, and they need to be housed and getting the money to do it. Sometimes they find a home, but the furniture and so on they don't have. So on behalf of Raise Your Voice in Lucia, which they have channeled it through the Real Issues WhatsApp chat group, I'm conveying that to say if anyone has and Kato, if you can just send me a little note. Don't have to put it in the group of the number they can I give out your number? I don't know, or another number that if somebody does have such a bed that they want to donate, that they can know the number to reach you or some other person associated with Raise Your Voice. Okay, so please just let me know if I can give out your number or if there's an alternative. So anyone who has a double bed or a bunk bed that they can donate, Raise Your Voice St. Lucia is putting out an appeal for that kind of assistance, and they always put it to very good use. Someone has posted in the Real Issues WhatsApp chat group that they have received from a reliable source that name given is the person identified to bring the seat home for Labour in Beaufort South. Now, I don't know if when you say identified, if you want to say that the person has been endorsed by the Labour Party, if they have gotten the nod. I'm not going to mention any name here because I would prefer to convey something that comes officially from the party through its political leader, the Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, the Chairman, Honorable Moses Jean-Baptiste, the General Secretary, Mr. Leo Clark, the Communications Director, who is also herself in the running for the candidacy of another seat on behalf of the Labour Party, Senator Lisa Jawahi. These kinds of official sources, if we can get that information from them, I'll feel safer with it. Otherwise, I don't want to be doing anything or helping to pass on any information that could pretty much be mischievous in the final analysis. Okay, so if anyone has a double bed or a bunk bed they can donate, please get in touch with Raise Your Voice in Lucia, especially the president of Raise Your Voice in Lucia, Miss Catherine Seelys. And I can tell you, I can put my hand in fire for them, that they always put donations to very good, very honest use. Integrity-wise, they are unassailable, beyond reproach in terms of actually putting it to good use and to intended use as they have. Okay? Now, I'm hearing other stories about some vigil or some march or whatever on Chaussee Road, a solidarity with the victims of violent crime. It seems to be associated with a politician and political party and so on. But it appears they're telling people don't come decked in party colors. They don't want this to be a partisan thing. They want it to, to basically. But I would say to any politician who does not want something to have a political slant or a political color to it, whatever, is don't let it come from you. Channel the request or the appeal for somebody else who people don't. The moment a political leader or the leader of one of the main political parties says, let's have a march on Chaussee Road against crime, whatever, automatically people, your followers, your supporters, who will respond mostly because they are your supporters, because they believe in you, because they trust you, because they want to show up for you. That's mostly why they're going to do it. Some will come out because they really want genuinely to put up a demonstration against, the violent crime and so on. But if you don't want it to be associated with that, channel it through somebody else. Channel it through some community organization, some NGO, whatever, that when they put it out, people will not make an obvious connection. The moment you say that, it becomes political because you are a politician and people are going to come out. Who support red will come out in their red. Who support yellow will come out in it because they each see it as an opportunity to make a statement against the other. But this is what I understand that there is a vigil planned for this afternoon on the Chaussee Road. Is that so? And who are the organizers? And then someone says, I hope they got permission. Someone else who's a person of standing says, that's good, we should support it. Every life matters. Another person is asking, why is it on a Friday afternoon? And so we are getting, this kind of little discussion going on, okay? Right. There's also some of the political stuff there, but I wouldn't... All right. Teresa Polion says, could someone send Shelton for me, please? I think she meant, could someone send the link for Shelton's program? Teresa, why you want somebody to send me? That's a very difficult thing, for them to package me and wrap me up and put me in something. All right, this is a very difficult thing for anybody to do. All right, folks, I'll tell you what. Let's open the phone lines. The numbers to dial, by the way, I'm alone today. Miguel was with me yesterday. He couldn't make it today. Terry Fenelon has a program somewhere else that he does on Fridays. So Fridays are out of it for him and some other days as well. 758-487-9849. That is the number on which you can WhatsApp call us. You can WhatsApp call us on 758-487-9849. And you can also call us on the local landline, which is 4533-911. So 487-9849, WhatsApp call us on that one, and 4533-911, the landline. Now you can also send messages to us, WhatsApp messages, and by going to realfmofficial.com, you'll see the WhatsApp messaging link there. Is that a call coming? And you will also see that same link on mbcslu.com. We have our first caller. You're on the air. Go ahead. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing okay. How about you?
I'm there quiet. I just have a situation I just need to inform you about. It has to do with the Ministry of Infrastructure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. What happened there? Long time ago, when you had a traffic, a light, a street light, it used to be Lucy like in charge of burn bulbs, okay?
Mm.
And if you make a report like on a Monday, by Tuesday the light has been fixed. Right now the Ministry of Infrastructure is in charge of that. And I live at Barbata. I made a report that it's a month and a half ago. Every time I call there, that's the electrical department, right? They will give me a story, they don't know when, and it's creating a problem in the community there right now. Because the area is dark, you tell them what's happening, but it's as if they still tell you they don't know when they'll come, and it's been a month and a half right now, so it's creating a problem in the area. Okay?
Mm.
So I don't know how, whatever can be done, for these people to understand the situation we're in right now.
Okay, so you are in the constituency of, is it Honorable King or Honorable Frederick?
Honorable Stevenson King, and he's also the Minister in charge of Infrastructure.
Right, so that is it. So is it a challenge for you to at his office see him or get a message across to him that we have this problem with the lights there, which I have, I've tried to get something done.
I intend to do that. I intend to do that next week, because every time you call electrical department, they always tell you they don't know when, and it's a month and a half. Well, just one bulb, one light.
Mm.
And Lucelec used to take one day. You see that Lucelec used to start change the same thing. I don't know why they changed it and give it to infrastructure.
Okay. What I would suggest, even if you don't get to see Minister King himself in person, I believe it's fairly efficient at the office. Whoever is there, the secretary, whatever the name is called, leave a message for him there, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, leave a message that, and they'll write it down. Tell Minister King there's a problem with lights that are needed in Mondino, whatever area. And, this is my number. He can call me and I can give more details. Do that, my friend. You don't need to wait for next week. Next week, today's Friday already. But do it as quickly as possible.
Okay, I will. Thank you very much.
Okay, my friend. All right. We have another call on the line. Hello. I call it Real Issues. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to echo the sentiments of the caller that just called. March, at the end of March, I called that specific department concerning 2 lamps in the Marshall Boulevard. End of March, I tell you. I went to the United States. I spent 6 weeks there. Then I heard of a shooting and a stabbing, and it happened in that same lane where those lights were not has never been installed. And when I spoke with the viewer, I told them it's a hot spot, and they should try to do that ASAP. They told me they don't know when they will call me, and they will tell me when they're going to install those lights. Up to now, a day like today. So that's end of March, April, May, June, and we're in July. So it's almost 4.5 months since I called. And up to now.
So
and I told them
Masha Boulevard, that's Castries East.
Masha Boulevard, yes.
In the constituency of the Prime Minister.
Yes. And it's in Anton's Lane.
It's what?
Anton's Lane.
So can you take the same advice that I gave to the previous caller and say, look, Prime Minister in the previous case was Senior Minister, Minister for Infrastructure, that, I'm leaving this message for the Prime Minister. This is my name, number, he can call me, that we have lights that are not working because Masha Boulevard is in the heart of the constituency.
Exactly.
You're right. So please, I'm asking for something to be done. This is my number. Well, I don't think it needs even that. If it's in Masha Boulevard, it should be obvious and plain to all, okay?
Yes.
So my friend, take a walk.
Because it really hurt me when that occurred right there in the same lane. The stabbing and the shooting.
Okay. All right, and the darkness doesn't help when you have those kinds of things.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my friend.
But
I'm telling you, the same way you can call this program, don't leave it dragging.
I haven't got the minister's number. I haven't got the.
So you don't know where the constituency office is?
Of course I know it.
Yeah, well, go there. Take a little walk there, quick, and tell them, look, I just finished calling the radio station and I'm coming there because those lights,
Well, I quite aware because I know where the office is. I don't live too far from there.
Okay.
But I use the right channel.
Yeah, but today
calling the infrastructure ministry and the engineering department or whatever department they call it.
Let me tell you this: and nobody above the Prime Minister, So if you bring it there to the Prime Minister, that's an escalation. You escalate it to the Prime Minister, and I'm sure he'll be concerned about that.
But I'll do that by Monday.
Okay, my friend. All right, thank you very much. Okay, we have another call on the line already. Hi, caller. Good afternoon. Real Issues.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great, and you?
Okay, I'm there holding on.
Why is that sounding like a voice from? Why is that voice sounding like it's from the West Coast? That's sounding like a West Coast voice.
That's from the south.
Okay, all right, okay, I got it wrong.
And I just called to confirm that the candidate for Beaufort South have been chosen.
Okay, so are you a member of the constituency executive or something?
Let me tell you, sweetheart, I'm more than that. I'm a foot soldier. Okay. And I've even congratulated the man that was chosen this morning.
Yeah, so it's a man, because I know it's 3 men and 1 woman that was there.
Danny Butcher is the chosen one.
Okay, all right. Someone sent me a message saying that, but again, I like to go according to confirmed official sources because, there's always room
I talked to him in person when I got the news.
Okay.
I congratulated him.
Okay. All right. So what, how do you feel about that if what you're saying is true?
Let me tell you, my choice was to see 2 women clash at the polls. Okay. It would be Tricia and Lady Lee. But that was the Prime Minister's decision, and there's nothing to do about it but to go with the flow.
Okay, all right.
I don't vote Danny, I vote SLP. And when I vote SLP, I vote for Pierre. I vote for Danny, but I vote for Pierre.
Okay.
And that's the person I want, is Pierre.
Okay. You're staying with Mr. Pierre?
Yes. Let me tell you, my NIC money going up. So I must stay with Mr. Pierre.
Okay, my friend. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Anything further from you?
Okay.
All right. Well, I don't know. Like I said, I prefer to go with reliable official information. And if it is true that Mr. Danny Butcher has received the nod to be the candidate for the SLP in Beaufort South, who will replace Dr. Kenny Anthony, then, congratulations to Mr. Butcher. If it's somebody else and that is known, then congratulations to whoever. Prior to getting this message and getting this call, I didn't know. If the final decision is made by the political leader, then I know he would have weighed and taken into consideration everything that needs to be weighed and taken into consideration, including the best advice and counsel that he could have gotten. This lady says she would have liked it to have been Miss Tresha Lionel. And I can tell anybody, if the Prime Minister didn't err on the side of the female hopeful and so on, it is because there is greater viability and winnability, with whoever else has been endorsed. Because the Prime Minister, I know, is someone who is very focused on the elevation of women, on doing things to cause there to be a greater representation of women in our politics, elective politics, whatever. He's that kind of person. He really demonstrates great respect and regard for women wherever he can, but politics is a game of who is the more winnable prospect, that you have to take this into consideration. But that said, I'm speaking only on the basis of if it is true. I have not received any email or message or anything telling me. We have another call on the line. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and you?
Well, hold on. Shelton, I want to stick on the issue of lighting around the country. In the past, Lusulek used to be responsible for lighting in the country. And I observed its change to infrastructure. I would like to do some research to find out exactly why this was changed to infrastructure, because it was a system that was working throughout the country. Lusulek had a team, had a department. Every 6 o'clock they go out to make sure to see wherever there are lights that burn to replace it. And it just changed to infrastructure. And a lot of people have been complaining about poor lighting around the constituency throughout the country. And we would like to hear a statement from infrastructure or the government why that was changed.
Okay.
Why it was changed. Because everybody, even me, I've been telling people complaining we don't light there burn, and nothing been
What
done.
kind of lights? Is it the regular lights or is it the LED, the solar lights and so on?
We have very few regular lights, and the majority of light have changed to LED.
Okay.
So it is the department that in charge to replace burn bulb that is not functioning. And we want to know why it was changed. I would like to know why it was changed from Lusulek to infrastructure, and which I believe Lusulek was the appropriate department or appropriate company to deal with that, because Lusulek are the ones that in charge for electricity in the country.
Okay.
The government will have to tell us why it was changed to infrastructure.
Okay, my friend. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. If we have nobody pending on the line, let's go for our break. All right. And Real Issues powered by Blue Waters is our final break. And then when we come back in, Jaquan tells me we have someone on the line. Hi, caller. Good afternoon. Real Issues.
Mr. Daniel, good afternoon, sir.
How are you doing?
Not bad at all, sir. Mr. Stephen Favre has admitted that he's a Canadian citizen. Am I correct?
I don't recall that,
Okay, he did on Mr. Stanley show.
Okay, all right, okay.
That he got his citizenship years ago, and he couldn't remember what he had to do to get it. Here's my question. Mr. Favre portrays himself as a diplomat.
An ex-diplomat, yes.
No. He still believes he's a diplomat.
Okay, all right, okay.
And he believes he understands international law.
Okay.
So let's go to the videotape. Mr. Favre has admitted that he doesn't like the decision the Foreign Ministry of St. Lucia has taken, carrying the Barbados flag. We are friends of all and satellites of none. He claimed that some of the diplomatic relationships that we do have is questionable to the United States. Now, all of these statements he made on both Mr. Timothy Poleon show and Mr. Stanley Lucien show. My dear question to him is, you're a Canadian citizen. Who do you support in the battle between your Canadian Prime Minister and the United States President? This is interesting. No, don't laugh, don't laugh, Mr. Daniel.
Okay. I'm taking myself here back, like Penwasi. Go ahead.
That's right. Some of these people are coming up on our political stage and think they could blank everybody. Mr. Favre have to tell us, where does his alliance stand? Does it stand with the Prime Minister of Canada? Or does it stand with the President of the United States? Because he is asking the government and people of St. Lucia to lose rank with some of the countries we have developed diplomatic relationship with. I mean, he cannot have it both ways. Secondly, is he willing to forego his Canadian citizenship to run for elective politics in St. Lucia?
Are they incompatible? Is there a prohibition on having citizenship in another country?
Brother, I saw a report out of HTS where it clearly says if you're carrying any allegiance to any other country, you're supposed to give it up.
Okay, all right.
So, Mr. Favre, you have to answer these questions, you know.
Okay. So did you?
I am of the total view that anybody who's carrying a foreign country passport must give it up first to become an MP in St. Lucia.
All right.
Or even to serve in the cabinet. That's my position.
Okay, my friend. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Stephen, I believe, always listens to this program, so maybe he might decide to call and clarify a few things. I may have a couple questions. So, Stephen, if you're listening, you heard what this gentleman say. I'm not too au fait with some of the points that he's raised, so maybe you might want to call and tell us where you stand with foreign citizenship, St. Lucia's diplomatic relations, for example, with Cuba, So, give us a call, Stephen, all right? All right, do we have another call on the line? All right, well, let's go for the break, and then when we come back, we'll take more calls and look at the messages.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your enhanced at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Real Issues powered by Blue Waters is on. We're going until 2 o'clock when we have to give way for the lotto. You know, I just got confirmation during the break that indeed Danny Butcher, it has been officially notified to the contenders that he will in fact be the one doing battle for the St. Lucia Labour Party in the next general elections, for which the incumbent, the current Member of Parliament, former Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony, has indicated that he will not be standing for re-election. And so congratulations to Mr. Danny Butcher. Like I said, I got confirmation that the official notifications were sent to the contenders, to the hopefuls, this morning following a meeting last night. And so they were notified, and it appears that there is a fair and commendable degree of calm acceptance that a choice has been made. We have a caller waiting. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Good
Yeah, hi.
afternoon.
Hi, good day to you.
My comrade Shelton
Yes, I'm there.
had a number of issues to deal with there. They were thought-provoking issues. With the news on Viewfort, what I think ought to happen is that the other free people who are vying to be in a place to rally their forces against the together with the person who has been elected. That's a very important aspect. But my particular issue on Shelton's thought-provoking comments first has to do with the cricket. I'm not too sure the extent to which the governance of these islands, even the people of these islands, have understood the extent to which this problem of insularity actually affects the things that have to be done in the Caribbean to really bring the Caribbean forward. I believe the plague that faces West Indian cricket now is because of insularity. Even though we have the anthem that rally around the West Indies, in my own mind, I don't think that the people of the Caribbean actually rally around the West Indies as a team when we compare to the other national teams. I mean, just watch the anthem. Just talk of the language of the anthem. They are insular. I believe that up to now, the larger countries, which is better endowed, what we call economically, otherwise have actually prejudices as far as the smaller islands are concerned. And Shelton made the comment when he indicated that some of these islands had little adverse positions when Julian Hunt, the other partner Hilaire, and the other partner there was Captain
Sammy,
was controlling the West Indians cricket. And that is a very serious issue. So I believe, my brother, it's a little bit foolhardy for anyone to suggest or to question whether the OECS as a group should go into bilateral relations with Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados, and these issues. I believe if there are issues in the framework of CARICOM that is really against or serving disadvantages because of the administration of it, because of whatever, that should be really looked at and addressed together. Because this issue of insularity, until we can get over that, it will affect a lot of things that are developmental issues. When these guys were at the zenith of world cricket, these guys were approaching world cricket, to me, from an anti-colonial and anti-racial position. Richards and these guys, man, these fast bowlers, they were saying, oh, you are colonizing me, I would bust your head for ball. And because of that, you know, the ICC had changed the rules as far as bouncers and things like, because of the terror these guys were unleashing on England, especially, and these kind of issues. So unless we understand these things, and the players themselves, the government, there's some guy in the ECCB, I believe he was a Centurion. I believe I had a copy in some place among my books, where he had written something about cricket and development. I don't believe that when these guys were at the top, the zenith of world cricket, the Caribbean governments and things did anything to take that kind of position and to bring it forward as far as other aspects of development and togetherness are concerned. I won't go on the one on the diabetes one yet. I believe Shelton was not satisfied with the doctorate I gave him on the behavior of cows. But I believe he's delving into some very important issues there. I want to thank you for the tolerance.
Thank you very much. Shelton, if SLP selected a candidate for Vieux South, they should have done so by bringing the candidates together, informing them, and immediately after, before anyone leaves, have media representatives ready to make the announcement to the public immediately. All right. Let me see. Do we have any other messages? All right. We have a call on the line. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues.
Hey, good afternoon, Shelton.
Hey, how you doing?
Good afternoon to your viewers and listeners.
Without any warning,
I'm good,
you abandoned me.
Sorry?
Without any warning, you abandoned me.
Boy, by the time I looked at my phone to message you, I realized the morning had gone already. I don't even need to call anymore because your last caller said basically everything I wanted to say. In fact, he expounded. um, the insularity points regarding West Indies cricket and generally and CARICOM. And I quite agree with Ralph Gonzalez and Gaston Brown regarding how CARICOM and the lesser developed countries or the OECS countries are treated, with, especially as you related to the more developed Trinidad and even Barbados is considered a middle income, more developed than St. Lucia. I think one of the biggest issues we face again when it comes to our manufacturing sector is exactly what Ralph has been talking about. Because when you look at the packaging for our local producers, our local agro processors, most of these things coming from Trinidad, and due to the particular levies and tariffs that are placed on it drives the cost of those local products. So I quite agree with them, but that, like your last caller said, and I want you, like you said earlier, Alan Shastri might seek to capitalize on that and make it look like Ralph and Gaston agree with him. But like your last caller said, the only way we can resolve any of these issues is to have that discussion at the CARICOM level. And I just think it's unfathomable, and conventional wisdom would tell you that leaving CARICOM at this point is a no-no.
Yeah.
Also, and I'm on the road, so I didn't really catch what your earlier caller said about the street lights. I think somewhere in the Marsha area. What was the complaint?
Yeah, Marsha Boulevard, and then there's another one where Mondidon or something like that. Yeah,
is there a street light that's not working?
Yeah, street lights that have gone off and they need replacing. They claim for some time.
So yes, you get the pole number and you take it to the ministry's electrical department.
So get the pole number.
Yeah.
And then take it to the ministry's electrical department.
I believe it's the ministry now, Lucy.
Okay.
Yeah, but either one of the two. Yeah, but you the pole number, it should have a plate with the pole number on it, and you make that request.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much. Thanks.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay, Miguel Fevrier giving us the benefit of his experience as someone who worked in the Ministry of Infrastructure, Communications Department for some time. You know, this message which I'm about to read was sent to me privately, but he's a gentleman that I hold in such high regard. He was with us for way too brief a period of time as the general manager of MBC. I'm talking about Mr. Cuthbert John. Thank you very much for a very nice message which says, "Good afternoon, my brother. Hope all is well. I am in St. Lucia and could not help but to let you know that you are doing a wonderful program. The issues of cricket, but more so the diabetes information is invaluable. Congrats. I'm looking forward to catching up before leaving in a few months. Have a wonderful weekend." Thank you very much, Cuthbert. I too look forward to meeting with you while you're here in St. Lucia. Of course, Cuthbert does consultancy work around the Caribbean and spent a short time and really did a wonderful job, efficient man, in shepherding things at MBC when we're still across on the other side. Always a pleasure hearing from him. Another person sends me some messages, says VFO has the same problem with this light issue. All right. When you go to the infrastructure, they're telling you go to your rep, because my niece has a business there, and at nights the place is very dark. She had to buy a solar light to rest on the pole, because when her customers are coming there, it is very dark, and she lives in the back of there and has her business there. She has reported it too many times. She has been a supporter before she was born. She's a fighter, and she is there just like Mr. Lubin, who passed away, and that's Mr. Dicky Lubin, who passed away recently in Vieux-Fort, the brother of Winston, Father Lubin. And I think she should get an award. Ask Dr. Anthony about her. All right. Let me see. Another person says, Danny is the man for Vieux-Fort South. I'm from Vieux-Fort South, and I have congratulated him. I think they mean. Of course, the other people, my colleague, media practitioner, Tresha Lionel, young lady who I met over the past decade, very, very, very nice person. I'm getting a call on my phone from a gentleman by the name of Jude Pokes Harlow. Hi, Jude, how you doing? Do we have a call on the line?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I'm calling on your phone because I have a little issue. I can't get the number from Yeah, I just want to say good afternoon to you and everybody else. And one of the things that I just wanted to point out is that I personally, I used to be feeling that way before, but we have to look at the bigger picture and realize that whoever considers that the party chooses, we may not know the individual personally, but the team would meet together, and if they select the individual, it's because they believe that the individual has certain potentials to work together as a team. And I'm saying that a lot of times it's our downfall because we like whichever candidate is chosen, sometimes we do not support.
Yeah, Jude, the quality of your call is real bad. You know, it's noisy, it's crackling, it's really not good. You know.
But I'll just text you what I want to say.
Okay, yeah, please, yeah. Okay. Let me say hello, by the way, to the man Skinny of Skinny's Chicken. The man who, if we were the type who absolutely capitalize on the generosity of someone, he would be feeding us abundantly every single day. Of course, we don't. I especially am very, I think, economical about availing myself of his offers and his generosity because I understand how much hard work and resources and so on that go into it. But Skinny is a very kind person. And it's not just with us. He generally is a very open-handed, giving kind of person. And so, Skinny, thanks for hailing up to let me know that you are locked in and listening. It's as delightful having you among the audience and among our fans as it is, from time to time, availing ourselves of your delightful offerings. You do it, I'm sure, like nobody else does. Okay, so thanks very much, Skinny. Have a great Friday and a wonderful weekend, you and all your staff and your lady, Jennifer. Thank you very much for the kindness that you all so persistently, so consistently show to us here at MBC. All right, I'm trying to see if I can read some more messages, but they're coming in so fast and furious. My understanding is that under UWP, a contract was given to a private company for changing street lights. All right, thank you very much for that. I can't vouch for the veracity of it, but I guess its information is good to put there. If anybody has something which is an improvement over that, they can likewise share it with us. Someone asked, you asked me if I'm a member of the View for South group. I'm one since the time of Sir Hunt. I think they mean Sir Julian Hunt. All right, so thank you very much for that message of clarification. Let me see. And I've gotten a flyer that has been shared with me by a couple of people where they say, one of them says, Lucilec, requesting a new street light or reporting a defective street light, contact the Ministry of Infrastructure directly, 468-4322. So to those who have these street light issues, and more than one person has sent me this flyer, it says, if you are requesting a new street light or are reporting a defective street light, one that's not working, one that's flickering, one that's dim, whatever, contact the Ministry of Infrastructure directly at 468-4322, okay? For defective lights, be sure to have your contact information and the pole number, what Miguel told us, and the pole number of the faulty light on hand. So like Miguel said, and this flyer is also saying, make sure you have the pole number, your contact information, where they can reach you if they need clarification or directions, I suppose. Have that information on hand, but you can contact the Infrastructure Ministry directly, 468-4322. And the person who sent me that message said they've never had any problem. I don't know if it's with the street lights or if the Ministry of Infrastructure in terms of its response to that problem. All right. So, I just want to, give my... is it comfort, consolation, whatever, to the others who took part in the Viewfort process for selecting a candidate to replace Dr. Kenny Anthony whenever the next elections are called. Two people I know, my friend for a very long time, Augustus Kade, and of course Tresha Lionel. The other gentleman, the ex-policeman, I don't know him all that well, or I can't remember who he is. Even his name, I tend to struggle to remember it. We might be going to the lotto very soon, but Jude Pokes Harlow has sent a text message to clarify what he was trying to say with the call whose technical quality wasn't so good. I was saying we need to stop the mentality of not supporting the party or the candidate if not one of your choice. The PM and team, alongside the constituency committee, choose someone they believe has the capability to work as a team member. So we need to look at the bigger picture. A government at work is a government to be kept. Can we take a call? Jaquan says, okay, we're too close to the 2 o'clock, so we'll have to leave it at that. Sorry, people, who are on the Facebook Live. I really wanted, yes, Kentry Frederick is the name of the other person who was among the 4 hopefuls for V4 South. But of course, we've confirmed that Mr. Danny Butcher is the one who's gotten the nod. All right, we'll have to leave it right there. Tell Miguel all that was done on several occasions, can't really, and all right, okay. I got the light by my home dealt with recently using the number above, that is the 4684322. You may need to go to Lucilec to fill the form like I did, okay? All right, so folks, that's it for Real Issues today and for the week. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and your weekend safely. God willing, we'll start this again next week for another 5 days from 12:30 to 2 p.m. Shelton Daniel signing off.
Day draw of Friday, 11th July 2025 were Double Daily Grand 3, 7, 13, 14. Big 4, 0, 7, 1, 7. Big for Multi-X 2X. Pick 2, 0, 6. Pick 2 Multi-X FP. 1 off 4, 2, 5. Lucky 3, 2, 7, 1. Lucky 3 Multi-X 2X.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues.